Hey guys, it's Aman
And Christina from Our Rich Journey.
So, if you've been following our journey, you know that we are multimillionaires. We achieved financial independence and we retired before the age of 40. And we were able to do all of this because we invested. And many times, in fact, all the time, people ask us about how we invested, what we invested. They want to focus so much on the actions we took to invest. But the real question they should be asking us if they want to know how to start this journey are the things that you should be doing before you make your first investment. In fact, we did 6 specific things before we start investing so that we could become millionaires.
So that's what we want to talk about in this video. The 6 specific things that we did before we even began investing. I think this is so important because if you do these things, you set yourself up to really exponentially grow your wealth and to move yourself forward when you're pursuing financial independence as opposed to running in place or even worse, moving backwards.
So the first thing we did is we did a self-assessment, a holistic look at our lives to figure out where we were at so that we could track where we needed to go.
So this is really about establishing your baseline. So you're looking at your finances, your expenses, your income, your assets, and your liabilities.
So that's what we call your financial self-assessment. And with your financial self-assessment, you can start to establish goals and objectives of where you want to take your life and how your finances can help you get there. And so for us, our biggest goal was wanting to achieve financial independence and retire early. And so it was at this self-assessment point when we decided that we needed to invest a certain way, that we needed to build wealth in the stock market, in real estate, and through side hustles.
So once we decided that we wanted to invest in the stock market and in real estate, we didn't want to just start throwing all of our money into those investments because we understood that there are inherent risks involved with investing. And so to protect ourselves more, we decided to build up an emergency fund first. So this emergency fund that we set up allowed us to have some cushion so that when we did begin investing, if there was volatility in the stock market and something happened where we needed to access money very quickly, we had that emergency fund available.
And so establishing an emergency fund before you start investing is so crucial. It will allow you to invest with peace of mind. So the rule of thumb when it comes to establishing an emergency fund is that you want to have about 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, and you can keep this money in a safe and accessible place like a high yield savings account. The next thing we did is that we made sure to pay off all of our high interest credit card debt. Now, when you invest in the stock market or you invest in real estate, it's all about the return on your investment. You want to get 10, 15, 20% return on your investment in the stock market, in real estate, whatever the case may be. And so why would we keep a balance on a credit card and pay high interest to a bank or a creditor? In our mind, holding high interest debt is the opposite of investing.
So it really comes down to the numbers. So let's say you're investing in the stock market. The average annual return in the stock market has been 10% historically. But if you have high interest debt, like you're paying credit cards and your interest rate is 15% or 18 or 20 or even higher, you are losing more money by not paying off that debt than you are gaining on your returns in an investment account.
So the next thing we did before we started investing was educate ourselves. And we have been doing this throughout the process when we decided that we wanted to start investing because we recognized that education was so important when it came to paying off debt, assessing our financial situation, all of the things that you need to do in order to get your money together. It's important that you educate yourself on how you should do that.
And what's really important to point out is that we did not come from money, so we didn't understand investing in the stock market. We had to educate ourselves. And I think a lot of times people, if they have high interest debt or if they haven't built up their emergency fund, they sort of categorize those things and they say, let me do this first, then I'll go on to the next thing, I'll do that next. And then when I'm done with all these things, I'm gonna start learning about index funds and ETFs and how to invest. But what we did is at the very beginning of our journey, when we decided all the things that we needed to do, we made educating ourselves an important component that we did from the very beginning. So that once we finished all of these different things prior to investing, we were ready to begin investing and to grow our wealth.
And I think people really glaze over this education piece because It was so ingrained in everything we did. We were listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, reading books. We were doing all of this simultaneous with paying off our debt, with establishing our emergency fund. It was something that was holistic. And like Christina said, we didn't have to wait to get through all these other things before we started educating ourselves. It was something that we were doing from the get-go.
So no matter where you are in your journey, if you are on these first initial steps or if you are further along, we have something that can help you. We have a stock market investing course. So if you are interested in that, we will leave a link in the description below, or you can go to ourrichjourney.com. But it helps you get through all of these steps. It helps you build your investment plan so that you can grow your wealth on the road to financial independence.
And so the other thing that you have to do before you start investing is create a budget. And I know for a lot of people, they do not like budgets, but there is more than one way to create a budget. You can have a lot of fun with this. There's so many apps out there. There's so many tools out there to help you establish the type of budget that you feel the most comfortable with and one that you can have fun with. One of the budgets that we really liked was something called a pay yourself first budget, where you prioritize your investing and saving and paying down debt, because by taking those types of actions, you are putting yourself at the forefront of where your money should go. And so our pay yourself budget, it was so instrumental in how we went about building wealth. If you guys actually want to get a copy of the budget that we used to achieve financial independence, we give that away for free on our website. And you will see within that budget, it has something called a savings rate calculator, where it identifies how much money that you are actually paying to yourself at any given time. And in our case, on our journey, at one point, we were saving over 70% of our income, and we were using that savings to invest more in the stock market and into real estate.
So if you want a copy of that budget, again, you can go to our website, which is ourrichjourney.com. So let's move on to the final thing that we did before we began investing, which is we developed an investment plan. Now, our investment plan was incredibly thorough, but it was also simple at the same time. So our investment plan included things like our rebalancing plan, our asset allocation, the different investments that we plan to invest in. We looked at all of the different accounts available to us, and we prioritized each account in order in terms of how we would contribute to those accounts. There were so many different elements to our plan, but we laid that all out and we knew exactly what we wanted to do by the time we finished that plan so that we could begin investing with confidence.
Now, I know there are a lot of people out there buying stocks on their apps or wherever they're going to buy stocks and all these different things, and they're doing it without a plan. People that are investing without a plan, they're going into this blindly. In fact, I feel like a lot of people are actually gambling because they are doing it with no objectives or no strategy. An investment plan doesn't have to be complex. It could be something that fits on one piece of paper. And so before you make your first investment, before you buy a single asset, you should have a plan for how that asset is going to support your overall goal. And in our case, when we bought our first investment, we knew exactly how we were going to live off of that investment in financial independence and early retirement. And so we encourage you to take a look at all 6 of these things that we did before we started investing. And maybe they can help you before you start your journey. And so if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.